Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. From Studio A in the Sugar Shack Studios, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we hope to talk to Melissa Farrell with the Triumph Registry Car Club about her journey in the club. I got to drive the refreshed Kia Seltos. Kind of a smallish, compact SUV. Not bad. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Conrad has the cruise-in calendar, and later we'll have an eBay guy on that I bought some wheels from. I'll give you the whole story.
All right.
Plus, This Week in Auto History, along with the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with David Ainsley filling in for Mr. Mars this morning. We have King Conrad DeLong, as always. We always need more Jeff Zegan. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday morning for our live show. If you're listening on a stream, a podcast, whatever kind of thing that there is out there.
This is hour one.
This is hour one of a 3-hour live program.
It's hour one, not your one, hour one.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
hour
you
one.
are.
Yeah.
No H.
No, we don't need that H. At any
Get
rate,
the H out of here.
yeah. Let me know if she dials in.
Yeah,
for
we'll
us,
do
will you?
that.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mars has that phone number for her if we need to call her and remind her that she's on. I think I gave you that list. But at any rate, there is some interesting news this week.
Oh, gosh.
And there's this underlying kind of thing going on within automotive media about EVs. Somebody gets a story about this. Somebody gets a story about this. Somebody gets another story here. Well,
You mean the media would lie to us?
I don't know about the lie part of it, but I will tell you that it's this underground thing going on.
Rumbling.
I didn't print out the story, but there is a deal now where there is an element that is being mined in China that apparently there's some sort of restriction or something going on that they're not going to be able to fulfill all the orders that they have for.
Oops.
I don't know whether it's cobalt or one of those elements that they use to make batteries. There's a big hiccup right there. First of all, it's China.
So they're in control.
China.
They're in control again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to give them control from our administration.
Yes. And, they've been in control for quite some time, but the thing that I find interesting is the fact that we're all about this EV push, but the resources for the batteries apparently aren't there to be able to fulfill all the orders.
And we had the guy on from the mining company.
Closer, if you would.
We had the guy on from the mining company earlier this year.
This is Spain.
Yeah. That really talked a lot about who's controlling those resources.
But with the whole EV onset, this has been talked about since day one.
Day one.
It's nothing new that we're listening to and people are describing. It's been there. It's just now that it's coming to fruition because, hey, we can't get it.
Everybody knows, but everybody knows. Yeah, Don, that's me. Everybody knows, but nobody wants to admit the truth. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the media is going to give you one story. Yeah, the media is going to give you one story and hopefully something close to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that this console sits out here, audio console sits out here all week long, not being used. And then we turn it on and expect it to work, and the little things that we listen to and control your microphone and all get a little scratchy.
A little dusty, a little dirty, a little corroded.
Just like you.
Dusty and dirty.
And corroded. So, at any rate, back to the story. In addition to all of these things that I'm hearing rumblings about when it comes to EVs, Ford Motor Company said Wednesday it is unlikely Mustang Mach-E electric vehicles currently in dealer showrooms will qualify for federal tax credits beginning in January. Now they got them sitting on the lots from what I understand. I have not talked to a Ford dealer, but U.S. Treasury issued guidance last week detailing new battery sourcing restrictions that take effect January 1st, aimed at weaning the U.S. EV supply chain away from China. The model Mach-E qualifies for a $3,750 federal tax credit. Ford has sold 35,908 Mach-E EVs in the U.S. in the first 11 months of the year, up 3.5% over the same period last year. In October, Ford said it was cutting some Mach-E production.
Yeah, because they've got 100-plus days supply.
Ford also said in October it was postponing about $12 billion in EV investments, including delaying its second battery plant in Kentucky. Ford also said in October it was temporarily cutting one of 3 shifts at the Michigan plant that builds its electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck, citing multiple constraints, including supply chain issues.
Wasn't that all part of the strike and guarantees of these battery plants and electric vehicle plants were included in the pay structure of the strike?
It just shows you how smart these negotiators are, even on the manufacturer side versus the union side.
So smart on one side, dumb on the other.
None of them are smart. And the ones that made out on the deal with this are the manufacturer side, because now they don't have to honor what they proposed and ratified and all that stuff previous. So I'm thinking this was a ploy. This was a plan that they already knew about, in my opinion.
Yeah, nana, boo-boo, we got you.
Well, there is a big upheaval in the automotive industry right now, needless to say. And they've all made these bajillion-dollar commitments to EV because that's what the current government wants us to do, to switch to EVs.
And the government subsidized a lot of it.
I don't have a problem with people driving EVs if that's what you choose.
Yeah.
I just think that it's just one more thing that in the store to buy.
Just another choice.
Yeah.
But don't force me.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work for me personally. If I commuted every day to the same job within, 100 miles or so, I would buy an EV if I were tending toward that choice. I would buy an EV and just to have one around, and Mama could use it to go to the grocery store, and we could use it to go to church on Sunday. But as far as driving to Dallas and back, I don't think so. Just doesn't make any sense to me. But if you got the funds, that's what you want to do, go for it.
Yeah, look at the people in the villages. They all drive golf carts.
That's right.
Because they choose to, because it's more economical for them.
Listen, if I lived in one of those home communities, I would definitely have me a little golf cart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go over to Jeff's house.
Yours would look like a 57 Chevy, though.
And mine would be tubbed out.
Jeff,
tubbed out with a Kawasaki 1000 in it.
Yeah.
That would be
one of them trash can mufflers on it.
You know what? And I'll bet you that somebody, at least in one of those communities, has something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there's a guy at Sugar Creek I played golf with, Alan Stubbs. He had probably one of the fastest golf carts that I know of.
Stubbs motorcycle?
No, it was a different Stubbs.
Got it.
But it was a fast little. I mean, you go from when you hit the ball, we were there.
Before the ball come to a
stop. Before the ball landed, right?
We were there. And he had a sound system, and he must have had like 12 speakers in this thing.
Like it was Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty much that was what it is. Before Rodney Dangerfield, he had that. So, Alan, if you're out there, hello. Interesting.
This is for Conrad.
Okay.
Now you have to keep your mouth shut until I finish the story.
Oh, that's going to be hard. Let's take bets on that.
Until I
What's
finish
the over
and
under on that?
Ready?
I'm just clearing my throat to make sure I'm quiet. Ready.
You be ready. But right now you need to just remain silent.
10-4.
General Motors is calling workers back to the office, ending CEO Mary Barra's work appropriately policy that gave people flexibility to stay home during the COVID-19 pandemic.
He's building.
Barra sent a memo to staff Tuesday saying employees must commute into GM on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday each week if they live within 50 miles of a GM office, a spokesperson confirmed. Some top executives live out of state, and it'll be up to Barra if they have to go into their offices, the spokesperson said. This is the story from Automotive News. Effective January 8th, 2024, we are providing more clarity on our 3-day-a-week return-to-office policy. GM said in a statement, hybrid employees need to be in the office Tuesday through Thursday in order to meet critical business needs and retain company culture. Rival Ford Motor Company still maintains a flexible hybrid policy that doesn't require workers to come into the office for a specific number of days a week. They only need to come to the office for group meetings. The company uses a hoteling model where instead of permanent desks, people reserve a desk in the building. Okay, now you can comment.
So a hybrid model versus an EV model.
Okay, yeah, that's funny. But you can comment on the story now.
3 days a week.
It's okay. It shows the stupidity of senior management. Either way.
And I'm interested in the out-of-state executives. So I thought if you were an executive working for General Motors in Detroit, Motor City, that you would have an office in the
I would imagine that there are some people that have permanent desks and permanent offices.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
still.
they do. Now, if I don't know the last time you were in the Renaissance Center for General Motors in that building, it's fabulous. It's an amazing, amazing building. It's laid out amazingly.
But they still have the Warren Tech Center, and the Warren Tech Center's got a ton of offices and people reporting out there, and then you've also got Milford and people reporting.
You got
out
Lansing. There's divisions in Lansing too, so I get that. But the question I had was out of state. So are you in?
Well, it's like
Bowling Green, or
well, it'd be like me. I'm out of state. When I was with General Motors, I wasn't a senior.
Where were
you were a satellite. He was here in
Houston,
Texas.
My office is up in Dallas.
But you weren't a corporate executive. You were just in middle management.
But all those people that reported to that office in Dallas when I was there, they were there 5 days a week.
Yeah.
They're going back to the office. They're not going to be allowed to work out of the house, and because a lot of the work they did in the office was on the phone and on their computer, which that was what they were doing from the house. Mm-hmm. Now they have to go physically to the office to do the same thing.
Well, obviously this whole change about was because of COVID, and people couldn't go into the office or weren't allowed to go in the office. And quite frankly, I wouldn't have wanted to go into a great big office with thousands of people not knowing what we do now about COVID, because they scared the hell out of everybody. We're going to die if we catch COVID. Well,
it sounds like the same thing they're telling us about electric cars.
Pretty much.
You're going to die if you don't drive an electric car.
Yeah. So at any rate, it's an interesting turnaround.
It's like all the global warming stuff. They had this big global warming meeting in Dubai, and they were saying, you need to stop eating meat. Well, they're eating, somebody had released the menu for that global warming
that was
conference.
very fancy stuff.
It was Wagyu beef and
high-end.
All the smoked meats and stuff. I'm like, what's right for me is not right for you. So, same thing with Miss 29 million.
Well, this is not just in Detroit. Lamborghini.
There you go.
Has reached a deal with unions to introduce
There's a solid
Hey, Tony!
Lamborghini has reached a deal with unions to introduce a 4-day week for its production workers. The labor associations in the company said as more manufacturing groups reconsider the structure of the work week for their employees. The move comes at a time when many companies and public offices are changing people, how many people work to improve employee well-being and promote company savings after the COVID-19 pandemic and rising costs. Similar 4-day work schemes adopted in other European countries, such as Britain, have found the employees worked more in less time. Job retention and recruitment improved, and sickness levels went down.
Because you're already home.
In the U.S., the idea of a 4-day work week was part of the UAW's initial bargaining gift wish with the Detroit 3 automakers, but it didn't advance at the bargaining table, despite the union winning historic gains in wages and benefits from the companies. Production workers on a rotating 2-shift schedule will alternate a 5-day week with a 4-day week, overall cutting 22 days of work each year, the union said.
Wow. There's 22 selling days in a month. 22 and a half, sometimes 23 selling days, depending if it's 4-week or 5-week months.
Well,
So
these
there's
are
20
but these are
predictions.
production workers.
Yeah, and those same production workers are all getting laid off because they eliminated all these battery plants they're building that were also included in this overview of things that were negotiated in the union contract. Uh-oh.
Everything's a changing.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got that? I mean,
Times they are a change.
yeah,
And
but I mean, big things that are changing, affecting tens of thousands of people, and not just here in the United States, but globally. Work weeks.
changes. Sounds like a David Bowie song, doesn't it?
That's right, it does. Anyway,
We have the guest available.
we do.
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
Do we want her big screen, or you want to do a
I'll
split
get her.
screen?
However you want
Well,
to do it.
So, Melissa, I don't hear her, but
Melissa, you there?
Is she muted? Might be
I don't
muted.
know. She might be muted.
I don't see that she's muted.
No.
Am I muted?
There
No,
you go.
no, you're good.
Dun,
We just
dun,
need you to say something.
dun.
So, Melissa Farrell with the Triumph Registry Car Club. She got involved in the club with her late husband, went on to compete in SCCA nationally, and now has multiple cars. I assume Triumph cars.
We do have a couple of Triumphs, and we have an MG. We have a 03 Retro T-Bird, and I have a Miata. So we have a little bit of everything.
Except they're all sports cars.
And they're all small.
They're all they're all small.
Yeah, we see a theme going on here. But
Yeah.
at any rate, well, it's great to talk to you, and thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning, Melissa. We appreciate it. So you got involved in this car club with your late husband. How long has it been since he passed?
He passed in February.
February of this year. Well, we're sorry to hear that. But obviously, he had the bug and transferred it to you.
Oh yeah, early on. We were married for 51 years, and he, when we first got married and moved close to the Gulf Coast, we decided we needed a small car to drive along the coast, and my husband found a TR250 that was mechanically sound, but needed some work. It was multicolored.
Oh.
I'm sure your listeners have heard that before.
Well, when it comes to Triumphs, a lot of them need a lot of work. If we understand that.
Yeah. We got someone to braze some of the really bad stuff, and then the little stuff, it kind of sat, and finally I asked my husband, well, what do you have to do? And we didn't know anything, so we were putting Bondo in the low areas, and he showed me how to do it, and I said, I can do that. Yeah, I was an art major in college, so sculpture.
It's like paper
right
mache.
Yeah. So we did that. That was our first, and then we picked up TR3B. Mm-hmm. That was pretty much a planter.
Planter.
There were trees growing out of it, and that sat for a long time. Probably about 20 years, but in a garage or a barn, or it was always safe. And finally in 2000, we finally had the time and the space to work on it, and we rebuilt it together. Of course, the engine was done by professionals, but we did a lot of the little stuff and put things together.
Sure.
And it became a great car. We showed it in 2003, and it got best to show at regionals.
Oh wow!
And then the same year we went to nationals, though, and something happened, and there was I probably won't get this right, but there was some kind of a bolt or something that came loose and flew into the crankshaft, and halfway through the show it just wouldn't run. So great at first, and then not so great, but we took it home, found the problem, fixed it, and got it to a nationals, I think a couple of years later, and it did very well.
So which one did you track?
The TR3 is my primary car, and it's a 62 model, and I don't know how to turn this around, so I'm just gonna do it physically.
While you're doing that, you said you moved to the coast. Which coast? Texas coast, or is there another part of the country?
Coast.
Gulf Coast. Okay.
Yeah, we were originally members of the Gulf area sports car club. I don't know if you can see the car.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Bug-Eye. I love the Bug-Eye.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's a Triumph. The Bug-Eye's, let me see. The Bug-Eye's an MG.
Yeah.
I believe, or a Sprite. No, it's a Sprite.
Very similar.
Yeah, it is. And
of course, it's got to be British Racing Green.
Of course, yeah.
Saddle interior, beautiful car.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous car.
Thank you. It's fun to drive too.
Are you still working on these cars yourself?
I do a little bit. The club has a couple of guys. One of them is a traveling mechanic, and he comes out and
Helps you with the heavy duty stuff?
Yeah, well, it's not so much heavy duty. It's just, are you there? This is a Stag that we were working on. I really wish I could turn this camera around, and I know there's some way to do it, but I'm not finding it. The Stag is being worked on, and Jerry Grouse will come out and help. There you can see.
Melissa, are you still? Well, we've lost your video signal there. Are you still racing now?
Yeah, mostly with the Triumph Club. They have autocrosses once or twice a year. Well, I can't get my.
Well, don't.
Are you there?
No worries.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're
Just
still
talk
here,
to us.
and we're running a little bit short on time. So, at any rate, we won't worry about that.
Yes, I still autocross, and autocross is a big part of the Texas Triumph Register, especially. We do them a couple of times a year at the Texas at the Police Academy.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun, and we challenge other clubs to come and see who gets the best time, the Triumphs or the MGs or whoever else comes up.
Well, I'm sure that the camaraderie plays a big part in all of this with your club and your racing and all the endeavors that you have with the Triumph.
It is. We get together once a month at somebody's house, and then we have one-day and multi-day drives that are offered throughout the year. Usually there's at least one a month, and then we also have breakfast every Saturday morning, which is where I'm not. But they have them in different parts. Houston's huge, so they have them in different parts of the town, and that way everyone gets a chance to come and see cars and visit with everybody.
Sure. Well, Melissa, I'm sorry we have to cut you short this morning. We had hoped to talk to you a little bit earlier, but at any rate, we thank you very much for joining us. It's the Triumph Registry Car Club, and her name is Melissa Farrell, and good luck to you, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2024 Kia Seltos. If you've not heard of it, it's been around for a while now. And as a matter of fact, they've just updated it. Here is the latest on that. It comes in several trim levels. Starts with the LX, moves up to S, EX, X-Line, and SX. I drove the SX all-wheel drive, so this is the loaded-up version. 5 passengers, gets a new grille, bumpers and lighting, new wheels, instrument panel. It was debuted first in 2021. So this is a relatively new vehicle for Kia, and to do this kind of a refresh on it in 2021 says a lot. Exterior features, although this is a small SUV, it has a masculine grille, separate lower front valance with a faux skid plate on the front of it, contoured, sculpted sides, off-roady rear end. What I liked about it, the overall looks. get high marks, in my opinion. What could use improvement? No suggestions here. The refreshed design looks great. Interior highlights: wide sweeping screen across the dash with instruments and infotainment in that same display. Simple, easy to use controls and functionality. Passive phone charger and cubbies and storage throughout the cabin. Comfortable seating too with faux leather. Looks good. Cargo trunk room, probably the largest in its class. I got those 4 brand new wheels that we're going to talk about here in just a minute in boxes, and got all 4 of them laying flat in the back with the second row folded down.
Very good.
So yeah, it was impressive. What I liked about it, the wide open hatch, easy to get all of Aunt Edna in there. What could use improvement? Power closer. Since I'm thinking,
for the rear hatch?
For the rear hatch. This is the top of the line thing. There's the little thing that you could put the button in. This one didn't have it. I don't know why. Engine. 1.6 liter turbo 4-cylinder, 195 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission, haul up to 894 pounds. That's not what it's made for. It's a commuter car. If you're looking for an entry-level car, this would be something you'd want to look for. 25 miles per gallon city, 27 on the highway for a combined of 26. I got 28.4.
That's very good.
Over 351.5 miles. What I liked about it, plenty of pep, and the transmission was responsive. And I drive a lot of cars that have a disconnect between the engine and the transmission.
Is that a full automatic or is it CVT?
No, it's full automatic.
Oh, wow.
8-speed automatic transmission. It was good. Ride and handling, fairly compliant with such a short wheelbase. Very maneuverable, obviously, in parking lots. What could use improvement? Nothing. Not that I could tell, anyway. Pricing. Base trim price on this car is $29,990. Price is tested. Now, this is a pre-production model, so I'm kind of guessing here. About $32,000. Base model price. You can get in one of these for the $24,390 plunked down on the table. Competitors: Chevy Trailblazer for $23,100, Mazda CX-30 $24,995, and the Honda HR-V for $24,100. So they're all right in there. But if you're in the market for this particular small SUV size vehicle, I would suggest that you put this on your shopping list.
And the Kia tends to be a pretty good value when you total up all the content that's built into one of them as well.
That's
compared
correct.
to the others.
Yeah. Some people say, well, it's just a simple, cheap little car. Well, simple is good. Cheap, it doesn't appear that way. So
less expensive.
There you go. That's a good word to use. Okay, so that's my review of the 2024 Kia Seltos. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through iHeartRadio. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts.